Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson here, excited to be with you this morning. I'm extremely jacked up for this episode. I've been really looking forward to having this guest on for the last couple of weeks and just absolutely amazed at how on fire this lady is and what she's doing, what she's rocking the world. We are honored to have our friend Niajae Wallace on this morning. So good morning, Niajae. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
You're just freaking ovation already at the clapometer here.
I love that. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. For those that don't know Niajae, you want to either pull over if you're listening in your car on this, or take a second to sit and really pull up on your phone and check out the Abundance Hack podcast. Just launched it. Great stuff on that. But besides just being a fellow podcaster, she is an influencer, a boss babe, and just a amazing individual. She's a fully remote entrepreneur that specializes in sales funnels and automation, which everybody needs these days. She's also passionate about helping people ditch the excuses, step into their power, and live their best life. And you are totally right on. You hit the nail on the head about stepping into the power, because we met a few weeks ago in Tampa at New Media Summit with our friend Steve Olsher's New Media Summit. And here's a lady, okay, gotta love, you can't, if you're listening to it, you can't see, but I think purple is one of her favorite colors, right? Purple and pink. She's got bright purple hair, white outfit, beautiful lady. She steps up to the mic, kind of quiet at first. I didn't see you really networking a lot of people. I think you're trying to figure everything out. And she's at New Media Summit. Everybody's got to give like a 2-minute pitch about it. Well, this lady rocked the house. Rocked the house. We're like, oh my God, she just did a great pitch and is just an amazing person, does a lot of productivity stuff. But I won't take your thunder, Niajae. Thank you again for being here. I'm just excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, New Media Summit was amazing. It was amazing.
Right. And so why don't we take it? We were talking a few minutes beforehand. You've got such a great thing that you're doing for people, but share a little bit about your background and how you kind of got into what you're doing today first.
So how far back should I take it?
Well, I grew up. No, I mean,
Okay,
kind of what led to what you're doing now.
Okay, awesome. So I had a brick and mortar business for 5 years. I owned a dance and aerial studio. And in the beginning, the first year or two, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, I'm getting paid to do what I love. And then I was the only studio that offered aerials. For anyone who doesn't know what aerials is, it's Cirque du Soleil, where we do the flips and tricks in the air. So I was the only studio in the city that offered this. So the business grew rapidly, like probably faster than what I was anticipating. And year 3, I became really burnt out because I didn't have solid systems. I didn't have a good self-care regimen. And I pretty much was unhappy because I didn't have these things in place in my business, and I was working myself to exhaustion. So I became really obsessed with understanding systems. And I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki that completely changed my mindset. So Robert Kiyosaki wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but the book that I read that changed my mindset was Choose to Be Rich. And that book, he goes in depth about the cash flow quadrant and the difference between owning a business and owning a job. And so I just became super obsessed with systems. And year 4, I revamped my whole business to have it operating like a well-oiled machine. And then year 5, I sold it, moved to Florida, transitioned to being fully remote, because I realized what I valued more than financial freedom was time and location freedom. Because when you work so hard, I was making phenomenal money, but I didn't have the time to enjoy it. And
Right.
So really setting your business up to where you still have a life, you still can enjoy the fruits of your labor, you still have time to take care of yourself. Self-care is so important, and you have time to enjoy life, because that's why we work so hard, to be able to enjoy life. So when I sold my business, I moved to Florida and I started coaching, but I wanted to have a specific thing that I coach entrepreneurs on, and a company I fell in love with, ClickFunnels. So I was a customer first, and I'm like, I love this company so much. Like, I love what they're doing. I love how they're helping entrepreneurs and business owners. So I worked for them for a year so I can learn directly from them. And now I build sales funnels. I coach people on how to build sales funnels, the strategy behind it, the strategy behind automation, and still allowing it to have a personal touch, because some people say, oh, I don't want to automate because, it takes the feeling out of the business, but it doesn't. Like all of my stuff, like you get Niajae and all of my emails, all of my funnels and everything. So that is pretty much what led me to where I am now.
That's awesome. For our audience that's listening out there, why don't we take it down a little bit? I get it. I'm speaking. You and I speak the same language, and a lot of entrepreneurs do. They're listening. But let's talk a little about what a basic funnel is for people. Let's talk about kind of that aspect, because I'm a big believer. Everybody has a funnel. I don't care what they're doing. Everybody has a funnel to either drive business, because we're all in sales, we're all in marketing, whether you believe it or not. But a funnel, and I remember this, I'll joke, because a couple New Media Summits ago, DJ Doug Sandler, from New Media Summit Icons, like, I don't even know what a funnel is. I'm like, oh my God, Doug. Why don't we talk about that out there for our listeners out there?
So the way that I break it down is the difference between a typical website, a traditional website. You go to it, people poke around, and then they leave, and you never know they were there. So a funnel is the journey that you take the customer on. So the difference between a traditional website and like maybe a landing page or a sales funnel is there's a specific call to action. It says, do this, click here, download this, sign up here. So it takes them on a specific journey. You tell them exactly what you want them to do. Then there's another step. And then at that step, you tell them exactly what you want them to do. And if they don't do it, then you send them into a different journey. And if they do it, you send them on that path to eventually purchasing from you. So that is basically how I break it down.
That's perfectly. I mean, it's great. In our note business, there's basically two big things that a lot of people go to. We either want people to come to our websites or come to our stuff and either provide us with assets that we can buy, or they're buying assets from us, or they're writing a check and bringing some money to the table that can fund our deals. Oh yeah, I got all sorts of.
I love that.
But that's the thing. And I think a lot of people, we always get the question, well, do I need a website? Like, yeah, everybody needs a website. It's the 21st century here, right? But a website is not going to do it by itself, right? You've got to have something that's going to be able to grab people's attention. And then, like you said, I love it. It's that journey through your website. And I think you do a really good job of helping people kind of walk through that step-by-step process, right?
Yeah. So basically, like you said, everyone has a funnel. There's a system that people take people on. You receive a business card, you send them an email, you follow up. So what a funnel does is it automates that. So they're going through that journey without you doing those individual steps. And so what I like to do, I like to mind map. So when people come to me and say, okay, I need a funnel, I mind map it. Okay, what do you want the person to do? So we're going to write out every single step. And so everyone has that journey, but the beauty in ClickFunnels or a sales funnel online is that it's automating that process and you're taking them through that journey. So if you can only speak to, let's say, 5 people a day, now with you having it automated, now you can speak to 500 or maybe even 5,000, you get to a high level, 5 million. So really taking it to the next level and having it, like I said earlier, operate like a well-oiled machine.
What's the biggest mistake you see people doing when they're looking to kind of mind map out their funnel? What's the biggest thing that you see people struggle with?
Believing the fluff. Believing the fluff. So there's a lot of programs out there that says, copy my one funnel and you'll make $100,000 a month. Now, it's totally possible to make that kind of money. However, it's not one size fits all funnel. You have to understand what you're offering, the problem that you're solving. You have to understand who you're solving this problem for. So who's your target audience? You have to tweak. So a lot of the companies that I see making significant money, they have multiple funnels. They may have 20, 50, maybe even 100 funnels because they're tweaking their offer, they're tweaking the copy, they're tweaking the photos, and they figure out like what works, and then they put all of their ad spend behind that. So basically, don't think that one funnel is going to just solve everything. You have to continuously add different offers, different lead magnets to get people on your emailing list. You have to be consistent with keeping up with your email list and doing different things to convert them to paying clients.
Right. That's the thing is so many people are going out and let's talk about some of the things there. Cause I know I just spoke last night here in Austin at Quest Trust Company's $1 trillion investment mixer. They had, I guess 90 people RSVP'd for the event. They had about 55 people show up, which is pretty normal, about 50%. And I'm talking to, there's a couple of people there that I know, and they're like, "Oh, I got my flyer." I'm like, "That's great, but are you out talking to people? Are you talking to the 50 people here? Because do you think they'll mind if I put my stacks out?" I'm like, "That's not effective. You can't put a business card out. That's like the old way. It's like the dark ages of marketing, right? You have to get out, talk to somebody, and then capture their info in some sort of fashion, right?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would always say have some type of lead magnet. Well, one, you have to talk to people. Like a flyer, it's a piece of paper. Like I didn't even know people still had flyers. But people still have business cards, for example. So with a business card, you really want to ask people about what they do, because even if it's not someone that you can directly do service with, it's like you're connecting with someone and you never know who they know. So I think that we have to bring connection back into networking. That's so important. And handing a person a flyer, that's not building a connection. That's not building a relationship. So get out and speak to people. Like I know there's social anxiety these days, but you have to speak to people because we're missing that connection. People crave that connection. So if anyone ever sees me at a networking event, please come up and speak to me. Like, don't feel like, oh, I don't want to speak to her. Like we have to build that connection and ask people about what they have going on. Ask them what they're excited about, and you never know what that will spark.
But that's such a getting to find out what they're excited about is really that little extra touch. We've talked about the whole form method. Where are you from? What's your occupation? What do you do for fun? And then you're getting your message out. But that's also kind of a funnel aspect of things. If talking to somebody, if you don't get a chance to, then following up with a conversation with an email or asking a couple questions so you can kind of take them down that path, right, Niajae?
Yes. So definitely what I like to do is offer, like if I'm trying to get people into my funnel, offer something that they're going to find valuable. So something that piques their interest, something that's solving a problem that they have, something that's going to add a little happiness or positivity in their life. So whatever your service, gift, skill is, you want to find the people who will find value in it and put it in a way to where they can't resist. They want whatever it is that you're offering. So that's the beauty in sales funnels, is offering some type of lead magnet that's going to offer value to your target audience.
Right. So let's take it back on the lead magnet. Some people are like, "Oh, a magnet on a TV or on the side of my fridge?" Like, no, it's not necessarily the same thing as a magnet. Because like somebody asked me that the other night. I was like, okay, basically like in today, a lead magnet could be like opting into a newsletter, right? An email newsletter or a one-page a checklist or a
PDF,
an ebook of some sort or a white pages thing, something of knowledge, which there's so much of that stuff out there. It's easy to find that stuff that you can use and figure out what your audience is looking for, right?
Yeah. So a lead magnet basically is some type of freebie to give your target audience in exchange for their email address, because you want to capture emails. A lot of people run, for example, their business on Facebook, but Facebook shut down not that long ago. And so many people freaked out. So it's a lot.
Facebook Armageddon kicked in. Sorry.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. I love the sound effects. So a lot of people try to keep up with their audience on Facebook, but when Facebook has a glitch, you can't contact your audience. So it's really, really important that you start to build and grow your email list. And so the freebie is something that you give them that they're interested in exchange for their email. So webinars are really great converters. Web series, like a free 3 video web series or something like that, ebooks, PDFs, checklists, cheat sheets. I have a cheat sheet that I just released. Just, anything that is going to make your target audience say, ooh, I want this. This is going to add value to my life, my business, whatever. So that is basically how you start your funnel, and then figure out, do you want to take them to a sales page? Do you want them to go into your newsletter and email chain? So you have to mind map what you want your clients to do, the process you want them to go through.
Yeah, and I love mind mapping. That's one of
Yes.
the things I think is so valuable. And literally it is, okay, going on a dry race board. Okay, what happens? What's that trigger when they opt in? What do you want them to do? And it's either like yes, no. I call it the choose your own adventure mapping kind of thing. You remember those books, choose your own adventure books?
Yeah.
You read a chapter and move. It's kind of that aspect of figuring out, okay, here what goes with this, and then either writing it all out or videotaping some videos and sharing that kind of journey, right?
Yes, definitely.
Do you talk to people that struggle with that though? Because I think I've seen some colleagues that have really struggled with that in the past.
Oh, of course. I mean, a lot of times people are so in their heads and they have like paralysis analysis where they're just like, I don't know what to do. So they kind of freeze up. And that's why I help with that, like mind mapping, like, okay, so explain to me what the end goal is. And I like to reverse engineer as well. So start with the end goal in mind. Like, what is the end goal? What is the best case scenario, and then let's work backwards from there. So it's really important that you set your goals. A lot of people are just like, well, I have this program, and I'm like, okay, well, what do you want this program to do? How many like programs do you want to sell? And make sure you know who you're selling to, because one of the biggest problems that I have is people not really knowing who their target audience is. Yep. So I have a lot of people that say, oh, I offer services to women. Okay, that's not a target audience, because there's so many different types of women. You have moms, you have single women, you have divorced women, you have women that like to work out, you have women that hate to work out, you have women that are glamorous and love makeup and fashion, you have women that hate that, you know, so you have to know who your target audience is to speak to them. So if I'm releasing a program and I'm talking about traveling and shopping, and I'm saying like, oh, my target is women, but I'm talking about things that moms may not be able to do, it's not going to resonate with them. So the more you know your target audience, the more your copy and your freebie or lead magnet can speak to them, the better you're going to convert.
Good nuggets there. Hang on, that's a nugget there for everybody. But that's it. We do a lot of research here, and I know that my avatar is a 35 to 65-year-old college educated homeowner making between 75 grand and 250 a year. It's 55% of our audience is male, 45% is female. And I have it down to kind of specific buying habits and what they're interested in tags. But the more, minute you can get, the better it is in your conversion ratios of whether A, you're trying to raise capital or sell assets. You don't want to be trying to raise capital from, no offense to anybody, it's, under 30 for the most part, because they just haven't had time to build any wealth or savings, right? You also don't want to be, really dealing with people that's making minimum wage. You got to figure out where they're hanging out at, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, and really honing your craft there to identify the right clients, right?
Yeah, it's so important. So important. And I know there's a lot of people that start out that target people that may not be able to afford their services. So if you have a service that you want to charge this amount because this is what you feel you're worth, but then they're targeting people, like I love that you said the income. A lot of people don't focus on that. And that's huge, 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 huge. So really getting specific of who you're servicing and where they hang out, the type of money they're making, what do they value? Because like trying to sell a self-development program to someone who doesn't value self-development, or trying to sell, a real estate program to someone who doesn't find value in that right now, they're not in that place in their life, it'll affect your conversion. So being really specific on who you're servicing and who can afford and want your product.
Such great nuggets, knowledge bombs there. Good stuff. But I talk to so many people too that struggle. They love it. They understand the idea, but they don't make the time to sit down to it. And what do you kind of see as an average time frame for people, just in the mind mapping aspect of things? What's the is it a day, hour, months? Where do you see kind of the effectiveness being? And I know it varies depending on the product and
yeah, Totally varies. It depends on where the client is. I work fast. Like I can get everything mapped out in a day if someone is ready. But then I have people that come to me, they're like, okay, I have the content. I know who my target audience is. I just have to put it together. And that's easy. And then you have some people that are like, okay, I know I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. So that's a little more difficult because sometimes when we start to peel the layers back, we realize that their target audience may not be who they thought they were targeting or who can afford their product. So yeah, it really depends on where the person is. And I think self-awareness is really important, knowing where you are in your business, knowing how much you have and how much you need to have to be ready to go.
So awareness, I love that word, awareness, but I think I love the fact though that you have an accountability kind of mastermind or accountability program to really help people. Why don't you talk? Would you talk a little bit more about that? Because that was one thing I was like, man, I got to ask her questions about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I do 90-day masterminds, and I picked 90 days because I know some are like 6 months to a year, and life happens. Things change. People decide they want to shift things. So I really like the 90 days because it gives you just enough time to figure out if you have a solid product, or I do help people scale as well, but that accountability of just getting a person started. So once you get them started and like that train is going, it makes it easy. But I found that that's the perfect amount of time to really get people going. So yeah, I love masterminds, the energy, the collective energy, the accountability is huge because some people need people to light that fire under their behinds. I may try to curse.
That's okay. You can't hear. But they want to they need that fire in their ass. They need that kick in the butt a little bit. But 90 days is really great because it allows them to start building some habits though.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
And the whole goal of this obviously is to help like automate a lot of the things that you're doing so you can have a little bit more fun than versus just turning a passion into work. Like you talked about early on, it wasn't fun anymore, right?
Yeah. It's really important that we learn to run our business and not allow our business to run us. And that was a really valuable lesson that I learned. And making sure that your business is in alignment with the lifestyle that you desire, because we only have one life. I mean, obviously some people think differently, but we only have one life right now. And so you don't want to spend that life working yourself to the bone to where you can't enjoy it. I had to like reevaluate. Like I started this business because I wanted freedom to be able to travel and make the money that I want to make and make my own schedule. But now I'm not making my own schedule because I'm working 7 days a week in this business and I'm burnt out. I can't travel right now. So I had to really go back to the drawing board and figure things out. So that's what I love to do with my clients. Like for me, it's not just about building funnels or teaching them how to work a funnel platform. It's about really helping them understand the lifestyle they desire and why did you start this business? What's your why? What's driving you? And what's your end goal? Like, are you trying to, provide for your family? Are you trying to free up time so that you can spend more time with your family? Are you trying to make a whole bunch of money? Like, great, but why do you want to make this money? What is this money going to gain you? And so I think it's really important that people reverse engineer and figure out exactly what it is that they want and why they want to run this business. And that makes everything else fall into place beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have to ask this before I ask the next question. Where is your happy place? Where is the place that you draw the most power? Because I've seen some different videos from some exotic locations, like some small grass huts over the water before.
Oh yeah. So Tahiti is probably the one that I post the most because it's so beautiful. The overwater bungalows was so beautiful. But my favorite place of all times to travel to is Costa Rica. It's the energy. It's beautiful, but the energy there is so different than anywhere else I've been. So Tahiti was beautiful, but the energy in Costa Rica is just unreal. I love it. Yeah.
So you do like going there and hanging out, and anytime you can go a place where the energy is great and you can relax, enjoy. I think it opens up avenues in your mind to be able to be a little bit more creative and you get away from the busy noise of our jobs or careers to really take some time to unwind, let those creative juices start to flow and kind of start mapping out what you want to accomplish, right?
Of course, of course. One thing I said this recently, that when you travel to different places, you think that you're traveling to learn more about the place, but you actually learn more about yourself, because it opens something up in you to where you understand that you like something you didn't know that you liked, or you don't like something you didn't know that you didn't like. And you see different ways of life. So like one of the places that I went to Venice, and they don't have cars in certain parts. So they either walk or take a boat, which is a completely different way of life. And so it opens your mind up to not be in this little box. So many people are in a box of like, this is how it has to be, but we're in such a beautiful time to where we can pave our own way. So business doesn't have to be a certain way right now. Like, a email list doesn't have to be a certain structure. Like, we can pave our own way right now. That is exciting. And so traveling for me allows me to learn more about myself, but then also see other ways of life. So you get out of the mind frame of like, oh, it has to be this way, because it doesn't. Like, take a chance, do something different. So, yeah.
But I love that, because the reason I brought that in is that you talk about the end in mind. A lot of people want to travel more. They want to have more fun, but they're shackled. As our good friend Aaron Young with Lawful Associates like to say, one of the sponsors of the show, like to say, you have to learn to be the unshackled entrepreneur, not be tied down or strapped to an office. And I think that's the most powerful thing about putting funnels together. You can automate the mundane, but also make it very creative. You put your personality into it, sharing it, because I think we had Jim Beach on from the School Startup Radio yesterday. I'm on his podcast later this afternoon, but talking about that, you can be personal, you can share that stuff, and then allows us to take away probably a good chunk of what you would be doing normally to put in those other creative things or build the time to help you travel, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that is why I got into sales funnels, because it allowed me the time and location freedom. It takes time to set everything up, because that's one of the funniest things that people say to me. I don't have time to set up a funnel. I'm like, you set it up once and it completely works itself. So you just have to set aside that time. It takes more time to keep doing the everyday, minimum wage activities that you're doing. So if you set aside the time to set it up, it's going to free up time in the long run. So it's that investment, that initial investment, that's going to pay off in the long run.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think a lot of people don't realize. They won't take the time away from the weekend activities. I mean,
can I just say, this is why I said in my pitch, ditch the excuses, because at the end of the day, think about how much time you spend watching Netflix. Think about how much time you spend watching sports and doing activities that don't mean anything, that's not getting you closer to your goals and your dreams. So if you can cut out Netflix for 2 weeks, don't watch any TV for 2 weeks to get your funnel done, you are going to benefit from that tremendously. So back to self-awareness, being self-aware of how much time you spend doing stuff that's not getting you closer to your goals, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So if it's important enough to you, if you want it bad enough, you will find the time.
That is true, because you can cut out a couple hours. Everybody's got I'm sure you're a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk, yes. Everybody's got the 7. If you're not working nights, you got 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. for your side hustle. Mm-hmm. And what I love is if you take the time, automate some things, sit down, give Niajae a phone call. You can literally spend some time in a week, 2 weeks, whatever, kind of mapping things out, the things that just are pain in the ass. And so many people out there come from a job where they're not used to marketing for themselves. They get in trying to be an entrepreneur and they struggle that first year, 2 years, because they're trying to figure it out. Nobody gives them like an entrepreneurial handbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you said something really good there, knowing your audience, but then also reverse engineering where you want to go. Or people, hey, I got the greatest 30-day course on entrepreneurship, but I don't know how to deliver it, right? Mm-hmm. You've got to take the time to do it. But what's the biggest thing that drives you bonkers when you're sitting down with somebody, trying to help the mind map out thing? What's the biggest thing that the excuses, obviously we hit a hot button there for everybody. But what's the biggest thing? Do you get tired of the excuses? People like, I don't have a funnel, I don't know how to start a funnel, or what?
No, I don't mind people not knowing, because that's why they come to me. That's why I do what I do. So excuses definitely is my biggest pet peeve. But what I love about what I do is helping people overcome their limiting beliefs. So what I found most is people stand in their own way. They stand in their own way and they're just like, I can't do this, or it's going to take so much time, or, I don't like, still it goes back to excuses, but people realizing that this is possible for you, helping people see like you can make this money, but it's going to take work. There's no quick fix. There's no get rich quick, copy one funnel and that's it. If you're willing to put in the time and the work to understand your audience, the problem that they have, the problem that you're solving, and offer stuff that's adding value to their life, and tweaking and checking your stats and creating content, you can be successful with this and automate it and have that automated, beautiful business that's just generating income while you sleep. That is the goal, to generate income while you sleep. And it's totally possible for everyone that's willing to put in the work. So I guess like the biggest thing is people just thinking that it's a quick fix, get rich quick, I'm going to pay you to do my funnel and I'm going to make all this money. Like it doesn't necessarily work like that. You have to tweak. You have to really have each step in your funnel. So that journey has to be personalized. It has to be personalized every step of the way. So I record a lot of videos. So when people go through my funnel, they're seeing my face. I'm like, hey, hey, you, like, so it's very personalized. So don't feel like if I have a funnel and it's automated, it's taken my personal touch out. No, it's not. No, it's not. Your touch can be in there every step of the way. So just really committing to it, committing to doing the work.
Well, personalized is you do some great stuff. I love it because you've got the purple, the tones, the pinks, the images of you in different areas. You've got the video of you running away with the balloons behind you down the wooden wall. Exactly.
That was so fun.
It is. I'm sure. We do this like 20 takes. It's just so much fun. But that's your personality, and that comes out across the board. And people like, it's okay to be yourself. You don't have to be this like in a box kind of guy or gal. It's really a stickler.
Yes.
You don't want to be the Scott Carsons. You don't want to be the Russell Brunsons. You want to be whoever you are.
Yeah.
And share that aspect, because that's why people really opt into anything, is they like the person, not necessarily the product a lot of times, right?
Yeah. So Sarah Blakely, if anyone doesn't know who Sarah Blakely is, she's the owner of Spanx, and she posted something on Instagram, I believe yesterday, where she says, you can have fun and be in business. Like, you don't have to be serious the whole time, because she's super silly. And Spanx is $1 billion company. It's $1 billion company, and she owns 100% of it. And she is just as silly as she wants to be. So don't feel like, oh, well, I can't be myself. I can't be silly. If you are silly, like whatever your personality is, like this is a time where people want to know who you are. You are your brand, and people are buying into you, because there's tons of people who build sales funnels. There's tons of coaches. There's tons of people who do real estate. So people are buying into you. So this is the time to really let your personality, your gifts, your skill, your uniqueness shine.
Let's just be you. What's the do you have an idea? Maybe you know right off the top of your head, what's the shortest funnel you've built, and then what's the longest funnel that you built?
So an opt-in funnel typically it could be 2 pages, where you have a lead landing page with your lead magnet, and they click to download it, and then a thank you page. So 2 pages. And that's it. And then longest one, oh my goodness. So probably a membership or webinar, well, like a webinar and membership funnel, where you have like your register for the webinar, watch the webinar replay room. And then you have like your sales video, and then the thank you page, the thank you page if they sign up, and then maybe like an upsell page. So like they can get really detailed. Then your member access membership area, like it can get really detailed. Yeah.
But I wanted to bring that up because it can the easiest thing to start with is getting people the opt-in aspect of things. Like, hey,
yes,
I got your email, or we met last night. Thank you for opting in. Or, hey, if you'd like to opt in. Very, very simple things. And I'm so surprised this thing that drives me bonkers is I go to an event or we host an event and we give a lot of times, we'll give the contact list out to everybody that was there so that they're there enjoying the content. They don't have to run around trying to get business cards.
Yeah.
And nobody follows up with an email. Nobody follows up like within 24 to 48 hours. And it kills my soul. You know, hang on a second. It kills my soul knowing like, hey, you just spent time. You have all this contact. People want to connect. You already know that they're interested in whatever you're interested in there. You know what their some of their basic interests are because you share that in mind. Why not send an email out or at least make that first step to touch with people? And it just goes the way of the dodo bird. You know what I mean?
Follow through is so important. It's so important. And I had a ton of messages and cards from New Media Summit, and I made sure I emailed everyone within 24 hours. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. Yeah.
And that's one funny thing is, I reached out to people. Hey, I'm glad to have you on my show. Crickets for a lot of people. And I'm like, oh, except like the icons, you and a few others. I'm like, okay, great. Because that's such an opportunity. And it doesn't, I think a lot of people too, if you're out talking to people, and this is kind of transitioning, I want to get more into a little bit about the podcast you've got rocking and rolling too, is that there's such opportunities out there to communicate with everybody. I think podcasting, and I've been to several marketing and podcasting conventions recently here in the last few weeks, and everybody's talking about, hey, especially like the Traffic and Conversion Summit and podcasting is really one of the biggest funnels that you have that is really exploding the business industry, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually have a really amazing, well, I think it's amazing, but I'm biased, but I have a really amazing commercial in my podcast for my membership site. So that's the beauty of so I try to explain to some people about how I set up my podcast because it's new, but I feel like I came at it from such a strategic place that I'm like super excited. But I have a commercial in there for my membership site, and I also have freebies. So it takes people to my website. So now it's driving traffic to my website. It's driving traffic to my membership site because that's what you want to do. You want to give them value and then get them to your website or funnel, you should say, because it's a specific journey.
Right. Yeah. Right. So podcasting, you've got how many episodes? So you filmed a bunch, recorded a bunch, got it uploaded really just as far as yesterday. Did you do video with them as well too?
Yeah. So the podcast, the audio's on iTunes, the videos on YouTube and Facebook Watch. So I launched yesterday and I have 3 episodes. I'm going to release a new episode every Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday will be an interview and Thursday will be a solo episode with just me. So it's talking about mindset. It's really about mindset, inspiring people to ditch the excuses, step into their power, take action, because we all sit around and we're like, well, I wish I could have this and woe is me and my life is so hard. Everybody has issues. Everyone has challenges, but that is our purpose, to overcome the challenge and grow into the person that we're meant to be, grow into the person that can live the life that we truly desire. So instead of sitting around talking about your goals, go out and take action, so that is the purpose of the podcast. And every guest that I've had on so far has really amazing stories. So I want to bring people in that have taken some type of leap to just change their situation, overcame some type of block that was standing in their way, because people see these blocks. Okay, this is a challenge. And some people say, well, maybe it wasn't meant to be, so I'm just not going to do it. No, it's meant for you to push past that, to grow, to evolve, to learn, so you can have everything that you desire. And it's called Abundance Hack. And I believe that life is meant to be abundant, and removing the blocks, because I give this example. I love this example. It's kind of like the Mario Brothers, the video game, where after every level, there's some type of challenge, and that challenge is always difficult. You have to fight some big monster. There's something super hard that you have to overcome in order to get to the next level. So that's how I see life. There's going to be challenges in every phase of our life, and some people don't want to face that challenge. They say, you know what, I'm just going to hang out at this level, collect all the coins that I can in this level because I don't want to face this challenge. But it's like, Don't you want to see what's on the other side? You have to push past that challenge and be okay with being uncomfortable. It's going to get hard at times. It's going to be difficult at times. You're going to have to sacrifice at times, but that is how you grow. That is how you have the business of your dreams. That is how you have the relationship of your dreams. That is how you have the life of your dreams. So
great stuff. I love it. You can tell everybody that's exactly kind of how she got up in front of the audience. It was like boom, boom, boom. They're in Tampa out there. When you made that conversion, and this is kind of taking us back a little bit, what was probably the biggest surprise to you? I mean, especially, well, let's take it back. You left what you were doing. You sold off your aerial gym, went to work for ClickFunnels. And then you went out on your own. What was the biggest surprise to you? What was the biggest kind of aha to you when you shook it things up? Because that's a major shakeup for you, right?
Yeah. So I'm a huge energy person, and I follow my purpose, and I just felt like there was something bigger. Like I was meant to make a bigger impact. But basically, when I first sold the studio and I started coaching, I was under so many different misconceptions. So I believed those programs were like, oh, copy my funnel and you'll make all this money. And it was like crickets, it was crickets. And so I'm like, okay, I didn't say, oh, this coaching thing doesn't work. I said, I need to figure this coaching thing out. I need to figure this funnel thing out. And that's why I went to work for ClickFunnels, because I'm like, there is a method behind the madness and I want to know. I want to know how to make this work. So I guess the biggest thing is like, there's a lot of people out there that are misleading people, and they're regurgitating sales copy of saying like, oh, I did this and I'm making this kind of money. And so I think people think that that's how it's going to be for them. And then when they don't have those results, it's actually pretty damaging to a person's self-esteem. It's damaging too, because they're like, what did I do wrong? But I want to tell people, if you experience that, you didn't do anything wrong. They're selling a course and you bought it. But if you really want to make it work, you have to keep at it. You have to keep tweaking your funnel. It's not going to be one funnel. Typically, it's not one funnel. You have to keep creating different lead magnets and different freebies. And maybe you did a webinar and your webinar didn't convert, but maybe your people would prefer an ebook because they like to read. So really, really creating different things and letting your audience tell you what they want. And they're going to tell you, like, and you'll see in your stats whether a photo or works better than a video, or maybe an ebook or a blog. So really just figuring out the best way to speak to your target audience, but knowing who your target audience is.
Well, the analogy that comes to mind is that we all want to drive a car, but we all don't want the same. I mean, and you buy a car, it's a base model. It's like adding all those perks. They'll throw out some basic tires and a basic chassis, but you want to upgrade it. You want to put some nicer tires on it. You actually want to have air conditioning. You want to have a different paint color. You want to rev up the engine. You want to change the leather interior a little bit or add different interior. That's the thing. A funnel or a thing it's a very base model aspect of there that isn't going to work for everybody. You've got to make those tweaks and customize it, as you like to say. Make it about you and understand what works. Does it work better on unlimited or super premium or diesel or biodiesel, whatever, with what your audience is looking for, right?
And another thing too is knowing your value proposition ladder. That's one thing I do want to mention, because a lot of people will try to copy like Russell Brunson's like free plus shipping book offer. Like he has a funnel, like free plus shipping book, but he's making his money on the back end because he has a really strong value proposition ladder. So if you just have a funnel, because I used to see this all the time. Well, I did a free plus shipping book funnel and I didn't make any money. I actually lost money. Yeah, because you don't have a value proposition ladder. So what he does is he has this free book, but then you pay the shipping, but then he upsells you on getting like the audiobook, and then he upsells you on ClickFunnels, and then he upsells you on his mastermind, and then his 2 comma club. So like there's a value proposition ladder to where if he at the end may have sold you a $2,000 product when you were just going for this free book. So really understanding that value proposition ladder, and again, reverse engineering. So starting with like your highest ticket item and working down from there. And most people have a really low end entryway. So like the freebie or like a $7 product or a $9 product, to where people are like, oh, this is nothing, but then you're upselling them along the way.
Mm-hmm. That's that ladder of building up there and, and being able to offer something to people to get them in, and then kind of then figure that, okay, that path that goes, what are they thinking? Which direction we going now? Yes, no, to opt in. Go from there. That's where a lot of your strengths come in, is helping them. Okay, you've got this high end. Let's figure a low end. Let's figure how we get people on that path to being happy. Because honestly, people are happy. They buy something, they want to be happy with it. They want to get more of something. We're all habits of that. Like if I buy one shirt, I want to buy another shirt later. You know, I buy one book from you, I may want to buy another book, because there's always other things that we can add to the journey, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
With your mastermind, talk a little about your 90-day masterminds. Is it a group of people that coming together on a regular basis? Is it webinars? Talk a little about that for me, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so we do Zoom sessions. We do 1 call a week, and I follow up throughout the week. So we set goals every single week. Like, okay, what are you doing this week to work towards your goal? And I follow up, and I don't play. And like when people are like, oh, well, you know, like my partner and I'm just like, you got to get it done. Because you need someone to say, okay, ditch the excuses. So that's really my thing, because I've met so many amazing, talented people that they just don't take action. So I really like to inspire people to take action, but it's a lot of strategy. I love strategy. I love systems. And then I also bring in guests. So if there's something that's not my specialty, like Facebook ads, for example, not my specialty, but I'll bring in someone who does Facebook ads to do a call 1 week if that's what people need to learn about. So I'm really detailed as far as like where people are and what they need to do to get from point A to point B, and who I network a lot. So I bring in guests, and I know people in all different types of fields. So whatever people need, I probably know someone who's an expert at it that I can bring in to help them. So I really my goal with it is really seeing people thrive, because I know the beauty in sales funnels. I know the beauty in having a solid launch. So just helping people get over that hurdle of not feeling like they can do it, and holding them accountable through the process.
A quick question here for you, because I love that, hand holding and walking people through the process and ditch the excuses. That was, I've been in coaching with note investing and real estate investors for a while. And that's the thing that drives me bonkers, is the excuses. If I'm taking time on my busy schedule to meet with you twice a week, and you're not going to do the hour activity or something like that, what's going on here? Why is, what's that mind block holding you back? But I love that you've done so much the last few years, transitioning and really coming into your power. Where do you see yourself? What's the end game, or what's the end goal in mind for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oprah. I'm trying to be the next Oprah. No, I really I want to build an empire. I want to have so much content out there inspiring people, whatever vehicle, whatever platform. I just want to inspire people to stop just existing and take it to the next level and start living, like actually live intentionally, and then take it one step further and thrive. So I'm releasing books. I have like 2 books in the works. I have my podcast. I have my mastermind and my membership. So, I really just want to make it so everyone can be inspired at some point from something that I'm creating.
I love it.
But yes, I put a picture of Oprah. I put a picture of Oprah on my wall, because I'm just like, I have to stay like the mission. I have a mission, a purpose. Like,
well, that's an important thing, because I love what you've got behind you. You can never have too much happiness. You can positive mind, positive vibe, positive lights. Is that a scratch off map of the?
It is.
It is a scratch off map to the side there.
Yes.
There you go. Good stuff.
So I love the gold so much because it fits with my decor here. I haven't started scratching off the places I've been because I'm just like, but no, I like the gold.
Nothing wrong with that.
I need to work on that. I need to work on because I've traveled to a good amount of countries now. So it'll be a good thing to do soon. So
how often are you taking a vacation? How often are traveling somewhere?
My whole life is a vacation. No, I live like 15 minutes from the beach. I live downtown. I'm such a city girl. I was born in the Bronx, New York. And so I live downtown St. Pete, but St. Pete is a beach town. So I'm 15 minutes from the beach, but I have like water by me. So I have this beautiful like high-rise building that has like a rooftop pool and you can see the water from my rooftop. Like I literally have manifested the perfect situation for me. I love where I live. It's such an awesome city and I love like my building. I work from my rooftop most of the time. So if you go to my website or honestly my podcast, the promo picture, like that's on my rooftop. So yeah, my whole life is a vacation and I work from my laptop. So like this was what I created. This is why I sold my brick and mortar business where I was like slaving and like exhausted to manifest this life. And it's possible for everyone. It's so possible. Like anyone who wants it. Maybe you don't want to live in Florida. Maybe you don't like the beach, but the lifestyle that you desire. So getting clear on what you desire and then reverse engineering to figuring out how you can manifest that.
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a great thing. Love the water too. Anywhere I can be around water. I got my office here in Austin, Texas. I'm 2 minutes from the house. I don't deal with traffic anymore. I come to my office. I'm in workout stuff gear because I'm working out my trainer here in a few minutes every day as I can, and trying to do what I can to, you do what you want to. If you start mapping it out, start planning it out, put it on your wall, whether it's Oprah on the wall or Jack Canfield with his $1 million check, or it may sound silly, but it does. That's what keeps us going. That's the carrot in front of us to really keep us moving forward. And totally just jacked up to see what all the amazing stuff that you're doing. You're an inspiration and a light to a lot of people in a very kind of dark world, which I think we agree there's a lot of crap out there.
Yeah.
And was really, really excited to get a chance to meet you and having you on here today and continuing this growing friendship and stuff like that, because I see us doing a lot of other stuff together. But
yeah,
it's the podcast, like she said, just launched, Abundance Hack Podcast. It's on iTunes. You also had a launch party yesterday on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
What's the best way for people to follow up with you if they want to reach out to you, talk to you about joining your mastermind or working with you for a funnel or two?
Yeah, so my website is the best place to get me, niajae.com, niajae.com. So that will lead you to the podcast. It'll lead you to Level Up Mastermind. It'll lead you to all of my social media. I'm all over social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, I'm on all of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, niajae.com. Check it out, everybody. Check out the Abundance Hack Podcast. Listen to it, subscribe, leave a review. You can't go wrong. And the energy is just like it is. She is exactly like she is all the time, everybody. That's the beautiful thing. Just a positive soul out here. So, well, thank you so much for coming on the Note Closer Show. I know I got a lot of it, and I'm sure Note Nation across the country got a lot of great little tips and nuggets as well to help them in their journey towards financial freedom and their journey to the top.
Thank you so much for having me. And I love your sound effects.
Well, I'll see if I can't find another one for you here.
I love that one.
Yeah. Everybody that's on it as a fellow podcaster, like, okay, I'm going to start ordering these in bulk and sending them out as well. So,
yeah, you should.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, hey, everybody. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Note Closer Show. Once again, go check it out, the Abundance Hack Podcast, niajae.com, niajae.com to get access to all the stuff that she's got available for you. Check it out. And once again, guys, go out, do something today to take action. If you're not living in your light, not living in the power that you want to do, take a few minutes during a lunch break or during your coffee break, sit down and think about what you want to accomplish, where you want to be in the next couple of years. You've heard that from other people on the podcast here. And the whole goal here is you can manifest what you want. If you're not happy, fix it. Don't spend the time wallowing in your misery. Take the time set it out and map out where you want to be, what you want your life to look like, because you'll be a lot happier, you'll be a lot healthier, and life will be a whole lot more fun. So go out, make something happen, everybody. And until the next episode, we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.